Hello, everybody. Dave Neal here, stand-up comic host of Bachelor Nation News. Happy Monday to everybody out there. And we've got a final farewell from Chatty Broads. Jess and Becca offer their final farewell. We're going to take a look at it. They're not the only podcast that's closing up shop. We've got others. Brian and Mike from Talking It Out are going to be talking it out no longer. They've talked it out and they've decided it ain't worth their time. So they say farewell. We're going to get into that. But my favorite podcast quitting all year was the the podcast where Dustin and Pilot Pete, they just ghosted their podcast. They got a lot of hate for Nate Gate. If you remember, Dustin defended Nate, calling the girl who was making, a party girl or whatever. They just flat out quit. They were like, you know what? Pull the plug, we're done. But of course, with Chatty Broads, they come at it from having several years of very close conversations. It's like therapy. So anyways, let's have a listen. Follow me on Instagram at DNeals. And I'm also going to be going on Patreon right after this. Patreon.com/Dave Neal at 10 a.m. to go live with you guys. Without further ado, here's the ending of the Chatty Broads podcast. What's next for Jess? Why I think it's fascinating and very good for her. This might be the best thing that ever happens to her from an outsider's point of view. Let's watch.
Rapping.
So it's the final minute here.
It's not a goodbye, right? And that's what I've always loved about our send-off.
No. We only live 50 minutes away from each other without traffic.
So they're never going to see each other again, guys.
We'll still see each other, probably. Okay.
Oh, all right. Ready?
Pull the plug.
I can't say it!
What is it? That's all, folks. Do one of those.
Okay, we can't say it at the same time.
It'd be great if they ended it without saying their final goodbye moment and they just cut.
You could say it the last time. Okay. Chat soon, broads.
Chat soon, broads.
Thanks
for chatting with us.
Yeah, I mean, look, whether you watch them or not, it's cute. It's cute. They're coming to an end. Most podcasts don't make it 7 episodes. Most don't make it 7 episodes. That's because a lot of people start them and they never make it. But they've got great quality, audio, visually, and great unique voices. So clearly a huge following is mourning the loss of Chatty Broads.
Love you all.
All right. But what is next for them?
Goodness.
That's the big question.
Oh my God.
And why quit? Why quit the show? I mean, it's a cash cow. It's one of those things. They've built this following. Why quit it? And of course, they say chat soon, broads, and they're done. So there they are, folks. They're done here. Look, I think this is great for Jess because let's go with what Jess posted. She just launched her new podcast, Your Mom and Dad. Let's see what she said on Instagram here. She said, coming January 4th, mark your calendars because your new mom and dad are coming over to give you their takes on romantic reality TV, spicy pop culture, interview your TV favorites and least favorites, offer relationship and sexy advice. They're not professionals. They are just your parents. Welcome to the family. This new podcast will be staying on the Chatty Broads feed, so make sure you are subscribed to the podcast YouTube to stay tuned for updates in the first official episode Wednesday, January 4th. It's going to be a doozy. This is fantastic for Jess because she doesn't have to rebuild the whole algorithm again. She gets control of the feed and gets to move on. So with that, I mean, my guess is that Becca and I don't have any personal insight to this, but just from an outsider's point of view who understands how podcasting works, it seems like Becca, it just wasn't worth her time, I'm guessing, which is mind-blowing to me because for 1 or 2 hours a week, I know that more work goes into it than that, obviously, but for 1 or 2 hours a week, you just have to have a conversation. I mean, it's almost good for you. It's good for you to get away from the kids. It's good for you to kind of just connect. There's no conversation like the ones you can have in long form content because we live in the world with, we're on our phones nonstop. We got all these other issues. That's probably really good therapy for them. So, just surprised because I personally, it's like if you've got all these different revenue streams, and for Becca, it's really, I don't know what her business is, but I'm sure it's mainly Instagram as a revenue stream and maybe TikTok. I don't even know. So when you get rid of the podcasting element, that's like taking a giant risk that the other social media platforms will still remain profitable when I don't know what she makes, but you make a couple, I mean, assuming she makes, I'm guessing $2,000 to $5,000 a week. That's just a guess, based off of the ad deals they get from Chatty Broads. That's just a lot of money to throw away. So I was just surprised about that. I'm happy for Jess that she can make a new thing out of it and all that jazz. I commented here. We all the comments from all the all stars that appreciate what they do. I had a comment somewhere. There it is. I said, too amazing. Tone it down. Because I mean, is that not the coolest? Sexiest sort of photo they got going on there. They've got this like vintage Mad Men sort of energy happening. He's got a casserole. I mean, it's great. It's just fantastic. So branding is on point. I said, tone it down. And her reply says, Dave don't mind me when I'm blowing you up to come on the pod all the time. Hey, you got my phone number. Let's make it happen. Let's go to Brian and Mike. Here's the last week they issued their final message. Let's see if they connect with their audience as well as Jess and Becca do.
On another note, guys, it is a bittersweet episode today. Mike and I will be filming our last podcast of Talking It Out today. Today is officially the last episode. We're signing off. And I speak on behalf of Mike. We just want to thank all of our listeners for all the kind words that we've gotten, all the comments, all the messages during our amazing run. We've had the best time doing this podcast, and I know that each of us has grown as an individual because of it. And just sending you love. Just send you love. That's all I got to say. We love you all. Like, we couldn't have done it without you. So thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Mike.
No, it's just hard hearing that. We've known for a few weeks, right? But it's just,
yeah,
it's hard to hear that because when you say it, it makes it.
He said we've known for a few weeks, which makes me think that they got fired.
True. And I echo your same sentiments. We so appreciate all of the listeners. From telling us how we could do better to complimenting us and having our backs in times of need. And so we appreciate each and every one of you guys. Thank you guys for, make sure you guys follow, make sure you guys tell us your thoughts, and allowing the contestants to be human. We truly appreciate that. Allowing Brian and I to be human as well. To onward things, and we'll always be in Bachelor in Paradises and Bachelor and Bachelorette family
and Bachelor.
I know, right? And I keep going. We'll always be in the Bachelor franchise.
Yeah, and I want to thank all the guests that we saw, right? Everybody we sat down with was amazing. Such amazing stories. I feel, I'm a little biased, right? We're a little biased about our podcast.
Oh, we sure are.
I really felt that, we got deep down, to the core of who these people are that we see on our television screens every single week. And
glad you said that.
I hope that America, was able to see, the amazing people that are on these shows. I know sometimes, the camera doesn't show them in the best light, but like Mike said, we're all human. Everybody makes mistakes. We're just all out there looking for love. Not me, but everybody else. But
you better say that.
Just thank you, just thank everybody for giving us the platform to hear out their story and just for us to get to know them a little bit better on a deeper level. So, thank you to all our guests.
Truly, I appreciate that.
All right, so look, I mean, hey, they had one of the better Bachelor Nation podcasts, but when you compare just the audio video quality that you get from Chatty Broads to that, it's like going from watching TV to like, it's just, you know what I mean? Like, it's just not. And again, this is just a technical aspect. This isn't criticism of them. I think as podcast hosts, their voice, both the technical quality of their voice, they both have just like the really great voices. They're very soothing to listen to. I think they would have been benefited so much by having like an in-studio kind of vibe happening. But the show doesn't want to do that. And I don't blame them. I always rail on the show. The show being Bachelor producers, they don't have any sort of, desire to take their podcasting to the next level and have like real professional quality sound studios, which by the way, you can go to one for like $100 an hour. Like, they're not expensive if they don't want to build one. They can just literally, you guys literally saw when I was on the road in New York City, I brought my nice microphones with me, kind of to prove a point, just to show that like, look, you can podcast in a way that's much higher quality, and the Bachelor show just doesn't want to do that. What's interesting, from what it sounds like here, is that Brian and Mike, it sounds like they got fired. I don't have any of the details, but that's how it comes off to me. So I wonder if the show's trying to phase out podcasting in general. And because this was obviously a Bachelor-produced podcast. Let's go to our final clip here. This is the funniest moment of the year for me when Dustin and Pilot Pete just flat out quit their podcast without even a goodbye. Regarding this story, because I kind of broke it to him. He was like, yeah, Bachelor in the City hasn't released a podcast yet. And I was like, bro, they quit. He was like, what? I was like, yeah, pretty wild stuff. I never want people to quit. I'd rather them actually talk it out. But I think they were like, you know what? I'm wearing the same shirt that I was wearing 3 months ago. Nothing changes. This ain't worth it. Like a toxic relationship when you get in a fight, you're like, the sex was good, but not worth this nonsense. And so they get that. All right. So today's featured teacher of the day is Miss. Okay. Anyway. So yeah, featuring teacher of the day. All right, so that's the information. Those are the three podcasts. Those are the podcasts that are quitting this week. I guess this is the time that I should promote Bachelor Rush Hour. If anyone wants to go to Bachelor Rush Hour, daily content every afternoon. I give you the audio version of the videos, along with a sort of fresh 5 to 10 minute intro of the day's news, not just Bachelor related, but anything I see fit. You can go check that out anywhere you listen to podcasts. And also don't forget, we've got a new vlog video out for our Christmas themed vlogs. You can click on it right here. It's day 2 of Christmas themed vlogs, and you can go see my ugly sweater party and my trip back to my hometown in Newport, Rhode Island. All right, folks, more content coming your way. I'll see you on the Patreon at 10 a.m. today.